the first thing that I was impressed with the Alto Irpavi when I got the prototype through and I built it up and went out for a ride, it was how comfortable it was on the road. And I was really quite concerned that with the Thruaxles on the discs, or the disc brakes, it was going to make it a little bit stiff, a little bit hard, a little bit, you know, every jolt would be felt. But it couldn't have been further from the truth. You know, I used carbon bars and a carbon stem, so even then, you know, you're riding along and you just think, wow, it's like a magic carpet ride, you know. But the frame itself, I think a lot of it comes down to the design, to the seat stays. We've got the curved seat stays. Because it's disc brakes, you don't need to have the brake bridge in. So it all helps to absorb those vibrations. But at the same time, with that tubing, we've managed to get really stiff bottom bracket where you need it. So when you get on the power, there's absolutely no flex at all. You just don't feel it. And I'm quite a big heavy rider with a bit of power. And you know, so I notice these things. And when you get out the saddle and you give it the beans, the bike is rigid, but when you're riding along over bumps and lumps, you don't get that horrible kind of vibration that shakes your fillings out your teeth.
Chris is a big rider. Yeah, he's not a climbing specialist, but he's very fast on the flat. He'll go downhill at a heck of a pace. Disc brakes for a guy like that make a lot of sense.
The Alto Irpavi is my favourite just now. It's just, I've got so used to disc brakes now. I never really believed that they were going to be necessary or all that popular on road bikes, but I think anybody who starts to use them, once you try them, you won't go back.
It's very difficult to say one's better than the other, but you know, pure braking performance of a disc brake is fantastic. So to have that advantage on a bike that is designed for, you know, especially in the larger sizes, to be suitable for a bigger rider, makes a lot of sense.
For your average user who's out doing sportives, you know, riding the road bike, having fun, enjoying riding a bike, discs seem to be superior on every level. The control you get, the modulation you get on the brakes are so superior to caliper brakes. You know, I had top of the range Dura-Ace ones, caliper ones, and I couldn't believe the difference stepping. And it was just Ultegra. So with Dura-Ace caliper to Ultegra discs, it was a massive step up. Well, James Olsen and I sat down and we really thought long and hard about the disc brake situation, because when we were first talking about it, there was still a lot of debate as to whether it would happen or not. The manufacturers hadn't really got behind it at that stage. There were, as far as I'm aware, we were one of the first manufacturers to go for the through-axle disc brake approach, which was a gamble, but it seems that everybody's copied us, and it is the way to do it now.
The main advantages are on the front wheel. It's the security. Having that axle fixed in place in a closed dropout, the wheel goes in every time in the same place.
It gives you that stiffness and that rigidity without losing any of the accuracy of putting the rotor into the discs and making sure, into the pads and making sure they don't rub.
Through axles are a lot easier to live with. If you're taking the wheel in and out regularly to put it in the car or to work on the bike, yeah, that makes a big difference.
The Alto Irpavi is, you know, at the moment it's the best bike I've ridden for a long, long time, and just, you know, I know I would say, I mean, we design them and there are bikes, but so impressed with them, and yeah, particularly in wet conditions as well, the disc brakes really, really shine. But as I always say to everybody when they ask about my bike, say, well, why should I buy your bike, or what's special about your bike? I say, just ride them, you know, ride them, try them back to back against the other sort of competitors in the range, and that's the only way you can sort of see, well, wow, this is actually really good, and it's cheaper than this one, so yeah, I'm going to go for this one instead.